very first cooking club live on Instagram this week. I had so much fun hanging out with you and cooking with you and drinking wine with you that I thought we should do it again. So this Thursday, March 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, please join me on Instagram Live at Meal Prep Fairy. We are going to be cooking one of my favorite dishes ever, shakshuka. Shakshuka is a North African dish where you poach eggs in a hearty, thick tomato stew that's been seasoned with warming spices like cumin and paprika and turmeric. It's a really hearty but really healthy dish, and it's got a really nice little kick to it. Don't worry, if you don't like spicy things, I will show you how to make this not spicy. It is a super easy recipe, but it is definitely a showstopper. It is gorgeous on the table, it's gonna look gorgeous on your Instagram, and it's super tasty. I love to eat this dish with a nice loaf of crusty country bread to sop up that tomato stew that's left over. But if you are being carb conscious, this is also really great with any kind of grain, farro, brown rice. Another version that I do is I'll throw in some chickpeas and some kale or any other vegetable you have, and I'll just eat it plain like that with a little bit of Greek yogurt dolloped on top. If you want to do that variation, I will be giving you adjustments live as to when to add those things, so you can follow along with us. Also, this makes the best meal prep for the week, especially if you are like me and you hate leftovers. So I'm going to show you some really cool tricks on how to do this so that you'll have a delicious shakshuka all week long. Here are all of the ingredients and kitchen tools that you're gonna need to follow along with me. Don't worry about writing all of this down. I'm gonna put it in a big list in the descriptions for you. So, first thing you need is a can of tomatoes. Like I said last week, I really love the San Marzano tomatoes. They're canned from Italy. They're really fresh. They taste really, really great. They're the best tomatoes that you can buy. But if you don't have San Marzano tomatoes, any brand will work. You just need a big 28-ounce can or two of the smaller 14-ounce cans. I'm using whole tomatoes. If you have diced or pureed, that's fine, but if you can get whole tomatoes, those are the best. You will also need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 4 to 5 eggs. Now, eggs are the one section in the grocery store where I will splurge if I can. I try to get organic pasture-raised eggs because they really make a difference, especially in a dish like this where eggs are sort of the centerpiece. Fresh eggs from healthy chickens are going to give you this bright orange yolk, and they're just going to taste different, they're going to taste fresher, and they're going to make your dish really come together in a nice way. If you don't have these eggs and you're like, Kim, I have a whole carton of regular eggs in my fridge, please use those. They will be fine. You're going to be great. Okay. We will also need 1 onion, about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, depending on how garlicky you like it, and 1 red bell pepper. Now, the reason I say a red bell pepper is because we're going to be making this beautiful dark red, rich red colored stew, and so the red bell pepper is going to help maintain that color. But if you've got green or yellow or orange or whatever you have, that's going to be great too. If you want to leave the bell pepper out, you can also do that. I find that you can't really taste it in the end. It just adds a little bit of complexity to the sauce, so that's why I threw it in there. Moving on to spices. We are going to be using turmeric, ground cumin, and paprika. If you don't have all of these, don't worry, use what you've got. And we are also going to be throwing in this paste called harissa. Harissa is a Moroccan red pepper sauce. If you don't have harissa, don't worry. You can use any sort of spice. You can use red chili pepper flakes, cayenne powder, chili powder, or even just whatever hot sauce you have lying around in your fridge, or sriracha or whatever will work. If you can get your hands on Harissa, it's at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, you can find it online. It's a really, really great cooking tool. I use it in a lot of my recipes. I'm going to be using it in the savory oatmeal that I will be posting this week on YouTube. So it is a great thing to have in your pantry. Those are the spices. All right. As normal, you're going to need salt and pepper and some olive oil. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. For toppings, these are all optional, but I'm going to be using fresh parsley, which gives it a little bit of brightness, and crumbled feta cheese for a little bit of tang. You can also put kalamata olives or fresh greens, whatever you have on there, something to make it look pretty on top, and just give it some extra textures and flavors is always great. Lastly, I'm going to be eating it with a nice crusty bread, thanks to my friend here. This is Dovid. He is my new sourdough starter and the mascot of Cooking Club. So hopefully by Thursday he will be a beautiful bowl of sourdough bread. If you're interested in making your own bread, I would recommend a really great, really easy recipe from the New York Times by Mark Bittman. It's called No Knead Sourdough Bread. It is super easy. If you're a beginner, you can totally do it. It just takes some time. And all you'll need is flour, water, and a little bit of dry active yeast. It's a great way to start baking bread. That's how I started. Also, as I said before, if you'd like some sort of grains instead, brown rice or farro, that would be really yummy with it. I would say I'm not going to be cooking that myself, so I would probably have that cooked ahead of time and ready to go. And as I said, if you would like to do the variation, you'll need a can of chickpeas and some kind of kale. I've got the Lacinto Dino kale here, but regular kale works, and Greek yogurt if you'd like to dollop that on top. And finally, of course, some wine if you want to drink along with me, because I'm going to be having a glass. Kitchen tools, moving on. You are going to need a cutting board and a kitchen knife. You're also going to need a cast iron pan. Now, I recommend using cast iron for this recipe. If you have one, it's going to help it cook a little more evenly. It's going to help the eggs cook evenly in there. It is also an added plus. The spices that you use in this are great for seasoning your cast iron and giving it some of that extra kick. If you don't have a cast iron, don't worry. Any pan that you have that's like maybe 10 or 12 inches across will be totally fine for this recipe. You will also need a can opener for those tomatoes, because I forgot to tell you to get one last week. Some measuring spoons. We are going to be measuring our spices this week. I know I don't usually do that, but it's really important to get the ratio of these spices right in this stew. So measuring spoons, and also just one regular spoon that's going to help us get the eggs into the stew, and a mixing bowl for squishing your tomatoes. And that is that. So I hope you can join me on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, to cook some shakshuka together. I'm super excited, and I will see you in the kitchen.